Hello friends, is Canada expensive? I'm going to talk about this in this video. Short answer, yes, Canada is expensive. Long answer, yes, Canada is expensive, but, and I'm going to talk about this a bit later. So short version is really Canada is expensive. Canada is actually one of the most expensive countries in the world. Which kind of don't make sense because it's the second largest country in the world and we have huge deposits of natural resources, oil, gas, gold, diamonds and everything. But may it be. So for example, I tell you, flying inside Canada is actually the most expensive in the entire world. We were ranked in 2022 or 21 the most expensive, then second most expensive in the entire world. Everywhere else you can fly cheaper. Then another one, cell phone data contract. They are really expensive here. When I used to live in Germany, it was really cheap. You can find so many contracts and like from another country. Even in America, they have like really cheap contracts. In Canada, cell phone contracts are really expensive. Data, like for example, a normal data plan costs you $50-60 Canadian per month. That's like 45 to 50 US dollar per month, and it's just like a couple of gigabytes, and so it's enough like to stream and stuff. Well, not if you're like a YouTuber. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough. And the coverage is like usually in most cities and stuff, not when you go fishing completely somewhere else. Then other things are really everything else. Let's say stuff you need like from abroad, stuff, food. So vegetables and especially fruits, they don't grow in Canada, and only a few like apples, they do grow in Canada, but growing them is more expensive here because it gets cold. The season for them to grow is shorter. So all fruits, basically all, have to be imported from the United States, from Mexico, South and Central America, from Asia, and other goods as well, like garlic from China, for example. Like everything has to be imported, so it means it's way more expensive, especially right now. Watch here, go. Especially right now because the Canadian dollar is a little bit low, or like quite low, as I mentioned in my other video before. That makes vegetables and everything else more expensive, and it really goes for everything. If you need like car repairs and such, everything costs more. So I said with the long story, but right. So one thing is, if you in Canada have a good paying job, it's a totally different story. Partially, it's not the same as in the United States, where everything is cheaper, and if you make a good living, you really are well off. So here in Canada we have well-paying jobs. Some they used to be for oil and gas. Usually they were like really well paid. 18-19-year-old man were like up in the north and then working on oil mines and gas and everything, or just like driving the larger vehicles like for oil and gas. But still, there's still a lot of jobs here that if you're coming, especially if you're children, that you should tell them to do. For example, usually government jobs, unlike in the States, in America, here they are very well paid, really well paid, and they have benefits. They have all the benefits, even TOOF, which are not included in our universal health care. For another example, military or police officers in Canada make really good money. After I think like 1 or 2 years, they make, or after 1 year, 70,000 to 80,000 Canadian dollar. So they are then at the average in Canada or above, and after a few years, police officers are over the average. They're like $80,000, $90,000, especially if you're specialized. And if you go just a little bit up the career ladder, you make a lot of money in the Canadian police. So that's the other thing. And then really things like paying more for your groceries and such isn't such a big deal anymore because you're making a lot of money, and the food that you're receiving usually is like good quality and everything, because everything has to go for border controls and such, so it doesn't affect you anymore. However, and here it is, if you are an unqualified let's say uneducated or low educated person coming to Canada, it's gonna be rough. I'm telling you, it's gonna be rough. If you make a minimum wage in Canada, your life ain't really that great because everything here is expensive. And I remember, like my ex-wife, she's from Hong Kong, and she complained how everything is expensive in Canada. I told her in Hong Kong, and I told her Canada is worse. For example, another one is living. So if you want to live in the biggest cities, Toronto or Vancouver, you might have heard of them, even if you are not moving to Canada, because they are one of the most expensive places in the entire world to live. Vancouver surpassed a few times Hong Kong and Singapore and being the most expensive city in the entire world. So living there is just like, for a small garage, you pay over $1 million. I said garage, not a house, just a small little garage. And there are so many other things that are really expensive in Canada. So when you're coming here, and so this is something that happens, people coming here don't have high education, or you have an education, let's say, from the Philippines, from China, India, or even the States. That's usually easier. As a doctor or something, you come over here, and guess what? It's not acknowledged. So the government is saying you cannot practice being a doctor or professor or something else, engineer, whatnot. You have first to go through schooling and such. Whole different story suddenly, and then you end up being a normal worker here, and then everything gets expensive for you. And you have to think about it, because people are coming to Canada, they think, yeah, I'm going to make huge money. I was the same when I was younger. I felt like, hey, I make so much money, I can travel and everything, and I can travel back to Germany all the time, not a problem. Then I found out everything here expensive. You need to have a good education, and education, I don't mean necessarily university degree, not at all. I mean a good trade, like working for oil and gas, like being a police officer, working in the government. Then you get a lot of money, you get insurances, and everything is provided for you and your family. Then you have a good life in Canada. But remember me saying this, and don't listen to people who are saying it's not that expensive. Canada is expensive, but it's beautiful, it's safe, and it has many other good things. So if you can work around it, just like finding a good job, then Canada is a really nice place. See you in the next one. Bye.